Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. So you've got your transmission pulled, it's time for the clutch. So we're gonna go under and do a few of the 3 easy steps to remove your clutch. Really, it's closer to 2. First step, I guess, well, before we even get to that, is you got to get your clutch in, right? So I went with the Monster, part of the mess we've been working. Monster, right? So this is a street clutch, single disc. It's supposed to hold, I think, 550 to 600 rear wheel torque. I like to write my mileage and then also the date that I installed on anything I'm doing when I'm working on the vehicle. That way, future me has an idea of when I was in here. There's that beast. Got it out. Thank goodness. We'll be shipping it out here this week. But let's go ahead and get under the car and start removing the old clutch. There's going to be 6 13 mil. This will be the first step of removing your clutch. All right, see if this pulls off now. There she goes. On it down. There's your pressure plate. We pull that down. Oh, yeah. That's been warm. That's gotten warm once. See this? Some hot spots on there for sure. Step 2. 6 15 mil. Let's get going on that as well. These 15 mil, I think they're torqued on at like 74 or 75 foot-pounds. We'll double check when we're installing. Hopefully we can do this without a holding tool back here. What you can do is you have your 15 mil, and instead of using this and trying to break it loose with your arm way down here, I mean, that's a lot of torque on this, do it opposite. So that way you don't have as much torque pulling down like that. There we go. So the engine compression stopped us there. Now this is kind of heavy. Make sure you're ready for that weight to come down on you. All right, it'll be exciting to see this off. Get a good look at the back of the engine. Wouldn't it be great if that said 6.0 instead? Next, gang, we want to pull the pilot bearing out. Have this tool here for it. I think there's a couple different ways, but this is what I feel is going to give us the most results with the least likely chance of doing damage. Some people put bread in or wet paper towel or whatnot, but this is what we're going. So this piece here goes in, it spreads, hooks in behind the bearing, and then we drive this nut to pull the bearing out, if it's that easy. So I've read a lot that the needle bearings, the actual needles themselves, you kind of have to like bang those out first with a screwdriver so this can get a better bite. Basically just destroying the inner race. Well, there's not an inner race, but if there was, giving us more clearance. I'm gonna go ahead and spray some PB Blaster inside here. I'll make let that get soaking. Maybe letting it sit, for a couple hours, soak in, be easier to pull that bearing out. Okay, see how the bevel is on the outside. We'll need to note that for installation purposes. Probably good to point out that I have the new bearing in the freezer right now. It looks like these rode up the needle bearings. Take the suggestion and try to bang those out. This goes against everything, I feel. If minimum force doesn't work, apply maximum force. Oh yeah. Even better, when these start flying out like that, there's no chance for us to go back, so we've burned our boat at this point. So now that we have those needle bearings out, let's get in behind the lip. Not behind the whole bearing, but just behind that front lip. Tighten up there, and this should pull her out now. There, moving. Grab a second bite on this so it didn't get all the way to the face. The new one's nice and frosty. I've got a 19 mil to help drive it in. I'm gonna see if I can find something better. Back from another angle. There we go. New flywheel time. You guys ready for this? I know I am. So we're just gonna get it sitting up there, get it finger tight, and then torque it to spec. It's 74 pounds, foot-pound. We need to step it to that. Probably do like a 25, 55, 74. You can see these new bolts have a sealant on there. That's because oil does move through the crank, so that's absolutely needed. This is an 18-pound monster clutch. Oh yeah. Don't worry about getting it dirty right now. We will clean that up. Yeah, get that so it doesn't fall on us. Whoo-wee! Ain't that pretty, boys? With that sealant, I can't really get them finger tight. I'm just gonna use this wrench just to get it snug. Also, I painted 2 teeth here. When you buy your clutch and your flywheel together, they'll oftentimes balance it. So I painted this, I painted the bolt, and I painted the clutch so I know how to align it for installation to make sure it's still balanced. Yeah, you can see here where they balance this flywheel to the clutch. All right, they're all snug up. They're all snugged up, snuggled up. Okay, now we have them all snuggled up. Let's break out that torque wrench and put them to spec. Welcome to the party. 74. All right, gang, what do you think? Can I do it without bracing the front of the engine? Just by pulling on these dowels, breaking these dowels. Ooh. So I have a 15/16 socket on the crank pulley. So now I can hold that with my legs. And hopefully keep the engine from spinning too much, just to be able to torque it. Yes! I'm sure this will bruise my leg. Have I mentioned this is not easy? It'd be a good time to compare the old pressure plate to the new in terms of the material. I mean, you can see that this one, lots of bluing, lots of wear. Same with the flywheel. Clutch material, some glazing on one end, on the inside, not so much on the outside. You can see like that straight line all the way around. That's not a materials difference. That is wear. Here on the aftermarket clutch, brand new surface, we're gonna have to clean that up really good. Same as with the flywheel, and then the biting material on the new clutch disc. To me, I thought I was quite surprised with the, I'll say, reduction in biting material between the discs. So the brown stuff on this side, on the left, that is the friction material. So that's what's actually grabbing considerably less than what's on the stock unit. Obviously a different compound. So let's go ahead, get under the car, align this, and bolt this up to the new flywheel. Now let's clean off this flywheel before we put the alignment tool on with the disc. Just using some brake clean and some clean new shop rags, shop towel. Look at that, came off. You see the dirt, the residual oil? This needs to be very clean, otherwise you're gonna risk the lifespan of your clutch. Then after I clean these, right before I install, I'm gonna put new gloves on. So any oil or dirt I have on my glove, you don't want to touch this with your bare hand. Might do this once more until it comes off completely clean. There we are. Let's clean this clutch up. The pressure plate. Oh yeah, look at that. Let's try a little bit more. Still dirty. This side. My goodness. You guys impressed with this? I am. I mean, that looks clean. This is really good to show the importance of cleaning this pressure plate off very, very thoroughly. That's getting better. Give it one more shot. There we go. I'm gonna do the same for the disc here. The flat side, by the way, goes against the flywheel. So this will go towards the engine, the green part towards the transmission. I feel like shimmying under here with this plate, trying to make sure I don't touch it to like my oily self or the ground. We're gonna go ahead and put this in, and then we're gonna align it into the pilot bearing. There we go. See, I got some more like brake clean dripping out. I might let this dry a little bit more and give it another go. In fact, that's something I think I'll do. Or you can see that this is sagging down a little bit. So what we're going to do after we let this dry a bit, we're going to put the pressure plate on and just barely snug it up a little bit, just so we can still move this around. And we'll want to be able where we can push this in and pop it right out real easily, because the trick of the whole job is when we're putting a transmission in, it has the input shaft. It's got to go through these splines and line up into that pilot bushing. We want to make sure that we are setting ourselves up for as easy of a job as possible on that. But let's clean this up. Gang, I'm shimmying under here with this freaking heavy clutch. Whoo-wee! Alright, thank goodness there are some dowel rods on here. Also, before I try lifting this up, I marked some teeth. So when I bought this clutch package, they balanced the clutch, the pressure plate, and flywheel together. So I want to make sure that those are in alignment. First dowel in, top and bottom. There we go. All right. You'll notice I wrote the mileage and the date came off. Don't worry, we'll have video evidence. I'm just starting these, getting a few threads in so she doesn't fall. Again, my markings in the teeth. All right, let's go ahead and torque this pressure plate down. We're gonna hold this up a little bit into the right alignment that we want. As we initially set this, I'm gonna go to 40, and then the next step right up to 52. I'm gonna go get a longer socket. That stayed pretty snug once I got these finger tight. Feeling pretty good about that. All right, see how this pulls right out and slides right in. That's good. Hopefully the input shaft will do the same thing if we're all buttered up. Click. While we're down here, my original clutch with a cam lasted me 86,000 miles. I'm sure I could have got more out of it. It wasn't slipping in street use, just drag and extreme street use. So let me know how far yours made it before you changed it. Kind of curious to know what the actual lifespan is on these. Click. Let's increase this up to 55, 52 I mean. Is that all of them? Let's just go all the way around real quick again. Yeah. Excellent. One final check. Does this pop out easily? Not bad at all. I think we're good. Not bad, right? So, the old flywheel, the old clutch, pressure plate, that's all out. Master cylinder, throwout bearing, the new clutch and flywheel are in. At this point, we're just waiting for the transmission to come in. So join us next time. We'll get that stabbed in and do some final adjustments. Oh boy, I can't wait. Until then, stay safe, show them your tail lights.